this video, elite batting coach Gio Colussi talks you through his 3-step simple batting process. Let's get it.
Our philosophy is a little bit different to everybody else. And what I've discovered over the last 24 years is that everybody thinks that improved player performance is going to come through improved or enhanced technique. And as I said now, what I've discovered is it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because technique-based training is one of the main problems with that, is that technique-based training engages players in a lot of conscious thought. And what I've discovered is that what's really hampering player performance are the players' own habits that they've formed in how they think and what and how they're training. And these thoughts and emotions have become so ingrained that they actually self-sabotage players. So what we do is we've got a 3-step process, and our third and final step is enhancing skills that everybody goes to first. And the first thing that we do is we look to unlock 3 things. And these three things deal with how you think. So the first thing that we unlock is there's a huge disconnect between when players train and they're focused on training technique, they're engaging in a lot of conscious thought because they're always looking for technical improvements and they're focusing on small parts in a moving sequence. Now, this is the complete opposite of what you want to happen in a match, where everybody says, oh, well, you've got to trust your instinct, you've got to go out there and play on instinct and, access your unconscious mind. But that's the big disconnect, that the way that players are training doesn't mirror what we want to be happening in a match. So we develop a process with players that allows them to access their unconscious mind in training, just how they would like to do in a match. The only difference being that in training, they're filtering different information than they would be to a match. So there's synergy here. The second thing that we unlock is a fearless mind. So we give players, again, a tool and a method that they can use that when nerves, fear, and doubt rear their head, that they've got a proven tool that they can use to quieten their mind, bring their focus back to being able to see and react to the ball, so that they can become, it moves them to a place where they're confident, calm, and relaxed at the crease. The third thing that we unlock with them is clarity and purpose. So we get them crystal clear on where their energy and focus needs to be. We create awareness around all the potential distractions. And then again, once we've created awareness around distractions, we give them a tool that they can use that when they do find through this awareness that they're getting distracted, that they can again quiet their mind, bring their focus back to seeing and reacting to the ball. Because if you want to bat long, you've got to be able to be present. And the things that take us away from being present are all of the different distractions that come up in a game and all of the different thoughts and emotions that go through, our minds while we're batting. And we've got to create awareness around these things and then develop a process where we can catch it, quieten our mind, bring ourselves back to seeing and reacting. Then the second step in our 3-step process is we train, and we train 3 things. So we train setting up to score. We make sure that every player that we work with has 360-degree access to the field. And again, if you don't have 360-degree access to the field, it's an immediate indication that there's a flaw in your fundamentals, in that the way that you're holding the bat, swinging the bat, and setting up is not allowing you to move with purpose, to access the ball, and to access scoring all around the field. The second thing that we do is make sure that the player's mindset and setup are in sync. Because if your mindset and setup aren't in sync, you're never going to achieve any degree of consistency in your performance. We then train the proven fundamentals of successful batting. So I've identified a couple of key fundamentals that every player who has averaged over 50 in Test cricket adheres to. And we don't just show players how to train these 2 things. We get them clarity on what they are. And most importantly, we create measurables with them so that when they train their fundamentals, the measurable will tell them immediately if something's off. And then we develop the personalized steps for them to fix it if the measurable tells them that something's off. So now you're always training at a really good level, and you're always building on and strengthening your fundamentals. So I'm sure, you've heard everybody's always talking about Steve Smith and how terrible his technique is. How does he score runs? He's got fantastic fundamentals. And your fundamentals are what help you score runs. And then the third and final thing that we train is point of contact, which there are two huge benefits to this. The first one is obviously your timing. Ball striking ability goes through the roof. I think using Billy as an example, in 60 list A innings, he'd hit 15 sixes. We do no power hitting training at all. Fundamentals, mindset, and point of contact, and he's hitting 4.38 more sixes per game in the following season. He had 10 in 8 innings. And the second thing that training point of contact and coupling it with the fundamentals of successful batting are that you create a much bigger margin for error for yourself. So you get away with more when you bat. I'm sure also a lot of guys will remember when India toured England on their last tour and when Smith toured England with Australia in the Ashes. Early on in Kohli and him in their innings, they get edges and they squirt off along the ground through gully and slip and through backward point. The commentators are always going, oh, how lucky are they? They're not lucky. They've got good fundamentals. And when you've got good fundamentals, you get away with more. And then our third and final step, which is, as I mentioned earlier, where everybody goes to first, but that is enhancing attacking, defensive, and match play skills. But if you're struggling to access a particular area of the field, it's an immediate indication that there's a flaw in your fundamentals that's preventing you from doing that. Most players will go and try and turn a weakness into a strength, but they'll often lose their strength when they do that because they make a compensation to access that area of the field, but it's not fundamentally sound. So when we enhance those skills, once you've got good fundamentals in how you're thinking and what and how you're training, and you know how to measure these things, it then becomes incredibly easy to enhance your attacking skills and your defensive skills. We also create measurables of players so that when they're training, they know if they're executing well. And then again, personalized steps to take to fix it. And then the third and final skill that we enhance with players are their match play skills. So we give them a match process where they can manage thoughts, emotions, and distractions so that they can remain present, take in all the important game information, formulate a plan, but most importantly, then trust that once they've given themselves the information, that their unconscious mind will use it. And this can only be done if you're accessing your unconscious mind in training. And then the second thing that we do is we create match measurables of players, a way for them to measure their match performances that allows them to detach from the outcome and helps them build their confidence regardless of their scores. So when you start to train your fundamentals and you know how to measure them, so you're always training at a good level, you know how to train your shots and measure them, and you've got steps to take to fix it if something's off. If you're measuring your match performances in a way that allows you to detach from the outcome, it moves you to a place where you no longer experience form slumps. And it moves you to a place where it becomes a case of, I know I'm doing all the right things, and I know I'm doing them consistently. Therefore, my next score is just around the corner. Versus this cycle of despair that most batsmen get stuck in, which is, I haven't had a score in 3 or 4 weeks. What do I need to fix or change to find a score and get some form? So now you're always chopping and changing what you're doing, and there's no consistency in what you do. And what that leads to is, every now and again, you might have a little bit of consistency and success, but you won't truly become consistent because you never understood what it is that brought that little bit of success. And when the next series of failures come, now that vicious cycle starts again. What do I need to change? What do I need to fix? How am I going to get a score? And everybody's coming with their 2 cents worth. Oh, you got to tweak your grip. You should be doing a trigger movement. You should have a forward press. Oh, your bat's coming from gully. You've got to take it back straighter. You've got to be more compact. And, all this information comes in, and these guys are trying all these different things, trying to find a score. You just get so confused. You never know what it is that you did to help you be consistent or to be successful. So our process is really simple. Consistency in thought, consistency in action leads to improved consistency in performance.
Hopefully you found those great tips from Gio useful. If you did, please do smash that like button for me and subscribe to the channel too if you haven't already. If you are interested in signing up to Gio's training program, I'll put a link in the description below. It's a great system, so please check it out, and I'll see you in the next video.